Nobody gives you better conversation about your quality of life.
Let everyone know you listen to
the New Orleans Talk Network.
Welcome back to Bob's Variety Hour on New Orleans Talk Network. You know, as I tell you, that lovely lady has a beautiful idea, but she's got it wrong. Because you want to watch the New Orleans Network, not just listen. So open up those ears and open up those eyelids. Even though it's early, we're here for you, always bringing, as the name says, a variety, a bevy of different, not only guests, but information sources. And we try to be the upbeat portion of this radio station. So much of the other stuff is either fire and brimstone or negative parts about our city and some of its ne'er-the-well politicians, etc. So we try and talk about all the topics that hopefully are topics that are either different, informative, fun. So to really in context with Hump Day, for those who know what the old term years ago invented in radio, Hump Day. So we're the bridge before the weekend comes, and in case there's any more negative talk between now and then, you'll have this upbeat stuff, we hope. For those who follow the program, know that we have started segmenting and specializing our shows to different features that seem to be very popular. And one of the earliest ones is, we're now calling it T4, not Terminator 4, but Talk to the Tarot. And just doing the abbreviation because that's a lot of words. And for those who know or have seen before the show, on the second Wednesday of the month, we have our lovely psychic tarot card reader who's headquartered in San Diego, California, and she Skypes in. But lo and behold, and I know, folks, this is not a Skype. This is not, the person next to me is live, in person, in studio. I can't dramatize it anymore than Robyn Dennen, who is so excited, just like we are, about this show and the relationship we're developing with not just local folks, as you'll see today, but throughout the nation, that she included us in one of her travels. She's going to Nashville after this and thought it nice enough to stop in to be live in studio. And that way we are even going to try and do maybe a third call, depending on whether we get people or not. We do have 2 locked in who've already requested, but we're open for early morning call if you'd like. So first of all, we want to welcome Robyn to the show, especially the studio, this massive studio she's sitting in. It must be an 8x10 closet, but thank you so much for coming. You don't know how good I feel that you felt good enough about or interested enough to stop over in your travels and give us grace us with your presence.
Good morning, Bob.
Nice and soft-spoken. Go ahead.
I love New Orleans. I came at Mardi Gras, and I've just fallen in love with this city.
Well, we claim to be infectious. We really do, in a positive way. And we're glad to hear that. In fact, she might be coming back again for Halloween. I think one of her siblings, one of her children, and they're not children, they're adults, but it's kind of, birthday is near that time, and she's kind of fascinated with the Halloween motif. So she's going to come, and they're going to stay and actually perhaps see the our only Halloween parade, the crew of Boo and stuff like that. So that's great that she's spreading the word out in California, as most people do, concerning our city and how much it has to offer. Okay, what else you want to tell about, just in general about yourself, and just since the onset of this program, what do what's generating the interest to do more for us?
Well, I'm living in San Diego now. This has been a dream of mine to get on the radio and be able to be more involved with the other communities, teaching people about that we all have this ability, and that we really need to get in tune with
our inner self.
Our inner self, exactly. And trusting our intuition, especially if you're driving on the freeway and you see that policeman and you're feeling like there might be one coming your way, that you slow down and listen to your intuition.
Great. Well, folks, what we're going to do is, not this moment, but in a few minutes, normally, again, if you follow the program, of course, we always have to have 2 or 3 commercial breaks during our show. That's part of the deal to pay for the programming. Normally it's at the 15-minute interval. Whenever we have an in-stage guest, though, we always ask our technicians if we can skip at least one of the commercials and bring it down to 2. So normally when Robyn Skypes in, we do our first commercial at 8:15. And then after that, we do the raffle. But since she's here and live in person, and that's why I want to put out the call, which I usually don't do if we're just giving information. But if you would like, even though it's short notice, if you would like to do a reading or have Robyn do a reading for you, you can call us. Our number locally or regardless, the area code is 504-341-8255. That's 341-TALK, T-A-L-K. That's what 8255 stands for. And if you call us in the next few minutes and are available to stay on the phone from 8:15 to 8:30, she will do a reading and answer at least one question that you might have. We've already scheduled the 8:30 and the 8:45 slot with folks who've registered early and want to be on. But we're going to try and do 3. We usually do 2 a show, but we're open. If we don't hear from someone, we'll just chit-chat till the 8:30 first person call. But if you really want to challenge or have hopefully a great forecast or want to know anything about your life, give us a call. One last time, 504-341-8255. Mike, our screener, will ask you for your first name, and he does have to ask you for your age. So please be honest there with both those things because it helps the reader. He will type, just for our viewing, your first name and your age so the psychic can actually use that in her preparation for the card reading. We will not, other than your first name, we will not mention your age over the air because we're not trying to, a lot of people are age sensitive, but please give us your valid age and we will not transfer it beyond us two right here. Okay, we've got a couple more minutes. Anything else real quick you want to say, Robyn, before we go to break?
Well, I always disclose that
disclaimer.
My disclaimer is that I am not a medical doctor. Anything I recommend will be more on a generic. I may say go see a doctor, but I do not diagnose at all.
There you go. That's very important, folks, because she might see something that is hopefully not a problem medically, but if she doesn't want to lie to you. Because heaven forbid, we all know the earlier you detect or get something diagnosed, the quicker you are with treatment and resolution of such. So she will just give you that caution. That's up to you. If you don't believe in physicians or you want to wait till you get pain, that's your personal prerogative. But please understand that she's not going to tell you what has to be done to resolve that medical problem other than consulting a specialist who can then advise and basically really diagnose the situation. Okay, I think it's a little bit after. I think it's our time. So we're going to go ahead and do our first commercial, come back with an abridged raffle, mainly giving out the picture and the announcement of the winner and also how to raffle the future. We're not giving out identifying the prize because it takes too long. Okay, go and enjoy this wonderful break. Come on back and we'll really begin the show, okay?
Are you looking for a hall to live stream your next event? Give us a call here at Bethesda Community Event Center, the only place on the Gulf Coast that can host and broadcast live your wedding reception, your baby shower, business seminar, and any other special event. Give us a call at 504-708-9454 for more details.
What's up, readers and shakers? It's your girl, Rhonda M. Lawson, sending you a personal invite to the Literary Lounge. Tune in to Horizons with Meet the World Image Solutions each Wednesday at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time for the best in literary conversation. Each week, a different author will join us to talk to their most important readers, you. You can also call in to ask your own questions. So don't forget, each Wednesday at 7 p.m., join us in the lounge for Horizons with Meet the World Image Solutions. See you there.
Hi, I'm Linda Lewis with Lewis Armstrong Family Services here live at New Orleans Talk Network. We're here every Thursday at 11 a.m. Come join us. Thank you.
Listen up. Your customers, our listeners, could be hearing about your business right now. Yeah, right now. Don't miss out on the opportunity to advertise with NewOrleansTalkNetwork.com. Call our business department today at 504-475-4793 to hear about our great rates. NewOrleansTalkNetwork.com. We provide the people, you provide the business.
Our listeners are as important as our guests. Nobody gives you better conversation, quality of life.
Let everyone know you listen to
The New Orleans Talk Network.
And you're watching the New Orleans Talk Network, specifically Bob B's Variety Hour in the Talk What You Know series. And again, we're always so thrilled about this particular week of the month because we have this lovely young lady actually in studio side by side with this ugly Monica to be here and to show you she's a living person. She's not a Max Headroom. She's not a fictional character that you see on Skype, a living, breathing person who with years of credibility. As we mentioned, we're opening the phone lines, 504-341-8255, 341-TALK. Now, we understand someone had called earlier during the first few minutes and who was a previous recipient of a reading. She is welcome to call back during this period now, and if we don't have anyone else ahead of her, we would be glad to hear some of the feedback that she wants to give us concerning her initial reading. But if not, we would love to hear a new reading. And as we mentioned, we do have new callers calling in at 8:30 and 8:45, and be ready for that because they're from different parts of the U.S. But let's talk about the raffle real quick. As you know, we would love to show you our raffle. We want to do a big shout out to Dr. Richard Akins himself and his staff out of Bay St. Louis, Mississippi, our adjoining state. I believe he's allowing his staff and himself to watch us this morning. And the main reason, well, hopefully more than just this, is that one of his staff members, Eileen, and I hope he sent us a lovely picture of Eileen. There she is. She has won last week's raffle. And we just showed you, Michael just showed you a picture. There it is. Lovely decoupaged eggs. These are ornamental eggs. You can't see at the top of each one is a little brass ring with a little flowerlet that she could hang on her ears if she wants big ear bobs, as they call it, named after me, or putting on a lovely tree, an Easter tree, or anything she wants. And decorated lovely with one of my favorite flowers, different shades of purple irises. So we are so pleased to, first of all, welcome Dr. Aiken and his staff, I know some of them personally, to the show, and hopefully they'll watch more often, not just when they win. And we want to wish Eileen the best, and they'll be coming your way tomorrow. I'll get those eggs to Dr. Aiken, and he'll deliver them to you in person. The next situation. Okay, we have another fan of the show, another caller, and I believe Grace has already had her reading, but let's go ahead and talk. Grace, welcome to the show. How you doing?
Hi, thank you, Bob. I'm doing fine today.
And our big question here, for those who don't remember, you're calling from South Carolina. And, you know, we were worried for you because of Irma. Everyone was worried here locally as well as for yourself because I knew you were up there. And it was Irma was very undetermined of where she wanted to go and who she wanted to destroy. And I know you had fears of that as well.
I was really freaking out here. I was really upset.
But
because I came here because of Hurricane Katrina.
Right, I know,
and
I know.
I still haven't been back home yet.
I know. We've been hearing more
been
and more.
12 years.
Right, and we were hearing more and more stories after Harvey of people who left the city because the closest two places was either Atlanta or Houston, and a large part of our population went to Houston. And sure enough, we were hearing horror stories here where people lost it here and now have lost it again in Harvey. And I didn't expect that to happen to you because you were up further north in the landlocked, but still, any damage is damage. But you were spared any problems, right?
Right, yes, we were, thank God. Yeah, we were spared.
Well, okay, Grace, what can we do for you? I think, am I correct? I know you're a big fan of the show, but I've forgotten, have we given you a reading or no?
Yeah, you did, several weeks ago.
Okay.
And the lady said that my
Robyn
daughter would have a baby.
Oh.
She read into my future and said that my daughter would have a baby.
Uh-huh.
And I said, "Oh no, not my daughter!" I couldn't believe it, and so I just disregarded it and I went on about my business. And about 2 weeks later, my daughter came in and said, "Guess what I'm getting? A new baby." And I said, "Oh no, you're not." She said, "Yes, I am."
Wow.
And
did you say you knew already?
It was a baby puppy. It was a baby puppy. But she said those words. "I'm getting a new baby." And I automatically reflected back to the mediums.
Robyn. Her name is Robyn. She's right here. I don't know if you're watching us this morning or listening to us, but she's right here in the flesh. Her first name is Robyn. So you're telling...
Oh, okay. So Robyn did predict something that did come true. And I wanted to make sure and tell her that because the words that she said was, "I see a daughter. I see a daughter in your life, and I see a baby in that daughter's life."
Wow.
That's what she said. I mean, she used the words. That's why when my daughter said, "Baby," I just totally went ballistic on her.
Did you tell her you already knew?
Baby. Say that again?
Did you tell your daughter? I forgot that lovely name. I met her many, many years ago when you lived here.
Leslie, yeah.
Yeah, Leslie.
I told her, yeah.
But did you tell her, well, darling, I already know that you are bringing me a grandchild?
Yeah, she thought it was so funny. So, but it was really amazing too. And the thing is, when she got the dog, it's a boxer dog.
Oh.
But the boxer, the big boxers, not the little pug nose boxers. The boxers with that white on the nose, and but
I'll take your word for it, Grace. I'm not that knowing of dogs. They're all four-legged, pretty little creatures to me, all big, but I don't know one from another. But anyway, so we're so glad. So you're actually giving Robyn, of course, not me, positive feedback on your reading, because we didn't solicit this at all, didn't expect you to call back, but we appreciate it. And again, Robyn is willing to take any feedback call, even if it turns out to be negative, because we're all human here.
Yeah, well, I had to tell her that, though. I had to let her know.
Go ahead, chime in, Robyn.
My daughter used the same words that she used.
Go ahead, speak to Grace.
I'm having a baby. I'm getting a new baby. She said, and those are the words she used for Leslie. She's getting a new baby. Your daughter's getting a new baby.
Thank you. Thank you, Grace. I always like to be validated. And a lot of times that's what I hear I'll hear words, and it doesn't surprise me that someone comes to you and repeats exactly what I have said.
Yeah.
Literally, yeah.
Well, that's what caught my attention. They were the exact words you used. So now I need for you to read me.
Well, I don't know. I mean, are you serious? You're looking for some more reading, or what do you?
Oh yeah, I would love to. I'd love to see what is in my future.
Okay, were you the one that was the artist?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I'm the one.
You know, I went on maybe my tirade because I've been encouraging her over the years. She's been a self-proclaimed, self-induced artist without not doing anything with it other than enjoying the therapy of it. But I've been trying to get her to, not necessarily the merchandise, but to get out into the South Carolina area to see there's got to be some type, either market association or art association, where she can join with fellow artists and display their work, you know, whether it's for sale or just for a fundraiser or just at a community mall or something. So that was my push for her for a long time. And when you all had the reading, that kind of just emphasized what I've been trying to get her to do.
Well, Grace,
that's what I plan on doing too.
Grace,
I'm sorry, go on, Robyn.
Yeah, Gracie, I still see the man around you. You still have a man coming towards you.
Here we go.
So, you know, you need to be patient, though. I think I told you it might take 2 or 3 years, but don't give up. You know, definitely. And I think we talked about the pink candle too, didn't we? Talk about the pink candle.
Someone I don't remember. I remember pink.
No,
candle.
let me hear about the pink candle.
So one of the things I use is candles. So get yourself a pink candle, and I always use the jar candles that they're the 24-hour candles. A lot of times, you know, they'll have a Guadalupe or
like a religious thing, but it's in a
Oh,
tall
okay,
vertical glass
yeah.
with wax all the way up to the top. Like I say, the most common use of them is in religious churches or ceremonies, etc.
And you don't have to have Guadalupe or anybody on it, but get the pink candle. Write down exactly what you want. Now, you don't write down the specific person, but put down the qualities. Make sure you understand what your deal breakers are, so that when you go back and look at that list and you see someone and they look all bobbly, and then you go back and you look at your list and you say, oh, that was my deal breaker. You got to make sure you do not go past your deal breaker.
Okay, that's good to know.
Yeah,
that's really good. That's a good way to do it.
And
I have to get this book. I'm not going to answer that phone.
Okay, so it's all about right intention. So your intention has to be very clear. You light it for about an hour at a time, and that's the reason why you like the large candles, because that will give you at least 12 times that you have lit the candle. You don't have to do it every day, but make sure, you know, sometimes I'll think about what I wrote down. I'll think about this is my right intention, that I do want to bring someone into my life, someone romantic, and then light it for an hour and then snuff it. And then, you know, you can wait a couple days. I don't necessarily think that you should do it every day, but maybe 2 or 3 times a week. And then just get yourself in the mode of, this is my right intention, that I'm going to bring someone romantic into my life. But there's definitely a man around you.
Right. And the other part was what I maybe jumped ahead was, I think you brought it up that you saw something like a festival or a market, you know, and that's when I was saying how I've been trying to encourage her to expose her work more rather than just keep it internally for her own and her family's pleasure, to actually get involved with other folks. Because it's hard to do that on your own, everyone, you know, unless you're really
it really is. I want to do that.
Yeah, but I bet you haven't done it, because I think you're a procrastinator from what I remember. You know? So I'm gonna chastise you for that.
Well, I love it. I love art too. I can't stop, you know. But every time I have a painting, it you know, when I almost complete it, it disappears. So, you know, when it disappears, it's frustrating for me.
Now, you say disappears. Does that mean someone, you're giving it away? Someone stealing your apartment? What is happening?
Somebody helps themselves to it and is not going to give it back.
Oh.
That's what it means. And they say, no, it's finished. It's finished.
Well, here's something that every artist struggles with. I mean, and whether it's a filmmaker or a painter like yourself, is that no piece of art is ever finished. And that is the hardest part for male or female artists to do, is to say, even though it's not finished, I've done it enough. It stands on itself now. It could be better in the future if I keep doctoring it, but I want to move forward. I don't want to be a victim of this piece of work. So, to the ordinary eye, it is finished. So even though you
Yeah,
can't see it, you see the whether it's imperfections or omissions or what you can do for enhancements. They don't know that. They're seeing what you're representing already, and they're pleased with it. So what you need to do is, instead of bemoaning the fact that they're disappearing, other than maybe not getting a dime for it and you putting out all the financial and the hard work, enjoy that you're getting the exposure that people want your art enough to actually, not steal it, but take it from you and just hopefully display it. They wouldn't be just taking it just to be taking it. So that's what you got to look on, is to move forward, because there's so many more pieces of art in you.
And that's more frustrating than anything, because I really like the pieces that I lose,
Yeah, I understand.
So
but you can't.
I have what little I have left. I lost a lot of them in Hurricane Katrina. I lost like 22 years of artwork, so, but...
Okay. Can I interrupt you for a minute?
Sure, please.
Okay, so that's what you're going through. You're grieving over your work. So for you to sit still, and embrace the stuff that you have lost, because that's what you said. You said you're losing a lot of your work even now, and you lost all that work during Katrina. So this is a more... I'm getting very emotional. This is really an emotional
It is emotional, because I have never gotten over Katrina yet.
Right, exactly. And that's the reason why you see that you're losing your work now, because you're afraid that it's going to be just like Katrina, but now you have to bless it, and as it goes out your door, you're blessing it to bring more to you, that you have more of an ability to bring this creativity to a higher level. So this is something that, Bob is right in a lot of what he was telling you, but this is based on your loss of what you lost in Katrina.
Yeah, she's analyzing it much better. I'm just talking about
she's doing a good job of it.
Once again, I've also suggested, especially with today's technology, it's so easy to either use your smartphone if you have it, or a camera, and take pictures of all your work, because even though it's not as good as having it in the flesh for you to touch or touch up, you still have a recording. Put it on your Facebook account. You don't have to have anybody to see it, just for your own personal pleasure.
I did that.
But you'll
just like in Katrina. I did a beautiful painting of her, and it wasn't complete. I didn't finish her earrings, but her face is just beautiful. It came out beautiful, and I have it on my computer right now, but. It's so frustrating. I feel like painting it all over again, and just to fix the earrings. It sounds silly, but
there's nothing wrong with recreating a piece. So many people, commercial artists, do that all the time. They take their most successful piece and either change it up a little bit or just replicate it. But what I'm saying, at least if you have it on the computer, it's just like perhaps you lost, as all of us did in Katrina, beautiful albums, photo albums, which we all had before the day of digital photography. And now you don't have that. Even if you lose your computer, it's in your special cloud or whatever, and you can reclaim it whenever you get replacement equipment or using someone else's. So that's what's good. You have a permanent record of it, whether it's physically lost or just in someone else's possession. So please, I can't encourage you enough to do that with each of your pieces, no matter what stage. I mean, a lot of artists want to document their whole painting history of a piece, where they are each and see how significant it grows.
I happen to do that. I happen to retrieve a piece of work that I put in, which was this lady that I painted that worked for me. And I don't know how, but it was God sent to me, so now I keep it, and every day I pull it out and look at it, and that's the one I was thinking about recreating.
Okay, Grace, I don't mean to cut you off, but there's another person calling. Let me see if Robyn has any parting comment, but we really appreciate the positive feedback or any feedback, and we appreciate you being such a devoted fan to our show, because it really makes me feel good.
I love it. I think it's wonderful, and I thank you very much for doing it for all of us.
Well, listen closely to if she has any parting words for you before we have to move on to the next caller. Go ahead.
Okay, and I do agree that you should redo the piece, but it's going to be different, and let it be different, because you'll get something even more out of it. It will be bigger and better. Okay, so I
So,
encourage you to
redo it. You're saying redo it.
Yes.
go ahead and redo it because it's not going to be like the last piece, but there'll be
Okay.
an essence of it for you, and you'll always remember it.
Okay. Anything else? real
Okay,
quick?
that
That's it.
sounds good. I'll
Okay.
send Bob a copy of it just so he could see which one I'm
Would love to.
talking
Would love
about.
to, and I would share it with your permission. I'll share it with Robyn because I know she'll feel
Sure,
she'll
okay.
feel better with that by actually seeing what we're both talking about today. Once again, Grace,
Yeah.
thanks for your call. Stay safe. Tell your lovely daughter hello for me. Not so much the
I
boxer.
sure
I'm
will.
not interested in that. And we'll talk. We'll talk to you soon. Take care. Okay.
Thank you. You too. Bye-bye.
Bye.
All righty. What does it say there? Okay. Now, Kelly. Okay, we have a person on the phone by the name of Kelly. Kelly, my name's Bob. This is Robyn, our psychic. Now, I don't have you as scheduled for today. Is that, are you just a caller because we asked for callers?
I talked with you on the phone a couple months ago.
Right, but I sent you a confirmation and you didn't confirm, did you?
I never received a confirmation.
That was yesterday. I tried calling. Anyway, all we'll have to do, since I did set someone else up, I thought for this 8:30 hour, 8:30 quarter, we'll go ahead and start with you, but I can't guarantee we can give the entire time because since you did not respond to what I sent yesterday or the night before yesterday or the phone calls, that anyway, let's go ahead. She has your information. Do you have?
Yeah, I have her information.
Okay, this is Robyn. Robyn, this is Kelly. Kelly, where are you calling from again, please?
Michigan.
Michigan, yes. I remember speaking to you, delightful young lady. So let's see what Robyn can do for you, and hopefully you can get the whole 15 minutes. Go ahead, dear.
Okay.
Go ahead, Robyn.
Okay, Kelly, what is it? Do you have a specific question to start off with?
Yes, I'm going to court in November, and I was wondering what the outcome of that would be. Would it be successful for me or not?
Okay, so it's going to be a mixed bag for you. There is going to be some things that you're going to have to actually be active in getting completed. So don't drag your feet on this one, okay? There will be some. I don't want to say, there will be some things that there's going to be a big upset around this. So it doesn't mean it's necessarily going to be a negative result, but there's going to be more to it. And you are going to have a sense of completing something before you can get to the next step. So, it would be, I'm just going to give you an example. Let's say you had a DUI and they require you to go to classes. That would be, okay, you have the challenge, then you have abilities to rectify it, and then getting through it. So it would be something to that effect where you're going to have a challenge, you're going to have to work at it. It's not going to be a yes or no. It's going to be kind of more of a, all right, if you do this, this will happen for you. So it's going to be a semi-positive outcome. It's not going to be totally negative.
Pardon me for my interruption, but I don't know if the other audience, I did not understand or hear the question correctly. Could you reiterate the question? I heard your lovely answer, but I'm not sure what's the question.
You were asking about the court.
I'm going to court to terminate a guardianship over myself.
Ah, okay. I'm sorry, Kelly. It's just I have bad hearing, and I didn't hear that part of it. So anything more you want to tell her?
Well, so do you see where what I just said is in relationship to what you're going through, that you're going to have to go through certain processes to get to the end of it?
I see that, but as of now, they haven't told me to do anything but to go to therapy. They have not gave me a list to say, if you do this, this, and this, you can get off.
Okay.
That has not taken place.
Okay, but you are going to therapy, and that was one of the requirements, and that's what I'm talking about. Going to therapy is one of the requirements. So
Right.
It is going to be a process. If you give me a second, I feel like there is going to be a positive outcome, but in that positive outcome, it's not going to be an easy outcome. So you're going to have to work at it. And if you work at it, you're going to get more of what you want. But you're still, let's say that you get, your guardianship is ended, but you're still going to have to be accountable from the court at whatever level that is. You're still going to have a level of accountability that you're going to have to deal with.
I mean, that's fine, provided that it gets ended. I have no problem with that. The provider I see, I don't really care for, but if I can get off, I will be elated. I've been going through this for about 14 years now, and I'm just ready to move on with my life.
Have you explored any other third-party individual, and I don't mean the therapist, beyond the therapist, about the specifics? Like you said, they haven't told you the steps other than therapy, I think I understood you say, which you seem that you're complying with, which, of course, Robyn agrees with that you're doing. But is there anyone else, I don't know if it's in the legal profession or in the state or the city government or something, that you could approach that question of and explain your situation, saying, but all you want, even though you know it's a long process, you want to know what are the actual number and what are the details of the steps. You're doing the one that's been recommended, but you know there's more to it than that. Is there any type of reference source, whether it's on Google or whether it's like I say, locally in your area, would of course be better because it would be specific to your locale. Is there anything like that that you could seek that kind of reference on the specificity of the steps to finalize what your goal is?
Not that I know of. Basically, I've asked the provider why she felt I needed one. She gave me a runaround answer and changed the subject. I feel as if I'm in a drug cartel, legal drug cartel. They're just making money off of me and they don't want to let me go. That's how I feel about the situation. It's too much money to be made to see me sick than to see me well.
And have you tried, just like I say, really naively, but just access to a computer and Googling for your state or state, what are the steps for releasing guardianship, and see if there's any just general things that they would say, and then try and find someone, whether it's pro bono work as opposed to having to pay someone, or going to your state legislator or city legislator to try and get some access there to just get the definition of the process, not treatment or therapy because you're going that, but what other steps are involved. Have you tried even that basic thing like that?
No, that's definitely something to look into. You said contact the city or the state legislator?
Yeah, if it's been dragging on 14 years, my goodness. I mean, I know you must be at wit's end, but at the same time, you've got to keep pushing forward and exploring every alternative, just like you nice enough to trust Robyn here for direction and information today, but she's not the be-all and end-all, no disrespect. She's a wonderful and very talented individual. But things like this, there are other areas you can reach out to that won't be charging you to try and get that definition. Like I said, the simplest is, first of all, just on Google or any searches on the net and start compiling that information for your area. And then after, if you still don't understand it, then go to some local representative or state representative who, obviously, if you vote in a taxpayer, he or she should reach out to you at least to try and give you direction if he or she does not have the answer. Okay?
Okay.
Anything else? Oh, well, let's do this.
Coming up on the job front?
Yep, you are. Okay, all right. So let me...
In case you're not seeing this, wait, let me just say, for those who are watching, we didn't explain on the first. Robyn is, and you might not be able to see it here on the table, but she is reading your cards. Your cards have already come out. She's just not talking off the top of her head. So while you were talking from the whole beginning, she started laying out your cards. So that's why I was going to see if she wanted to tell us something rather than you ask another question. But she's already addressing, and let's go ahead and address that question concerning the job.
Okay, so with the job, yes, I see that you are in the process of looking for another job at this point, right?
Right.
Okay, so are you taking any? Okay, there's a couple of things. One, I do see a kind of a career change. So whatever you've been doing, either you're going to be changing the industry you're working in, or you're going to be changing exactly what you were doing. So it may be similar to what you were doing in the past, but there is going to be a caveat that there is going to be. It's just going to be a little bit of a change. So it's not going to be like if you were doing accounting, it could be doing accounting from doing it, or we're going to say radio, and you're doing it for a school, because that's what I did.
Yeah.
So I'm just giving you an
Personal
example.
experience.
My own personal experience. But I'm going to tell this job situation is I know it's causing you some heartache. I think it's all related to everything else that's going on in your life right now. Hang in there, because you're really going through a difficult time right now, and it is going to improve. It may take about a year, but the things that you're dealing with today, especially if you take action, you're going to feel like you're more empowered. So don't just sit there on your hands waiting for something to happen to you. The action is what's going to help you through all of this. I would recommend, absolutely, if you're looking for another job, you're on the right track. I think that would be a good change for you at this point.
Do they have, in your area, do they have any either VOTEC colleges or schools, or even more importantly, being a female empowerment groups, associations, many of these network to encourage and to give the female, a heads up and not more opportunities because we all know that us males seem to get everything. So this way, some of those things look at, and again, most of those are nonprofit or for free and will work for you one-on-one. So, don't just go to, I can't afford the job agencies, because we all know how expensive they are. And look for the ones that either pro bono or special things, like I say, geared to women in the business world or in the empowerment world, because I know here in New Orleans we have things strictly for women, starting with young girls with regard to letting them become entrepreneurs, teaching them, giving them free classes, and then staging contests once a year where they win like $10,000. Now, sure, that's not the be-all and end, like $1 million, but to get started in a business when you're a teenager or whatever with something you never even had hopes till you were an adult is a phenomenal success. So look for those. These are things from the Urban League. There's numerous places that have these type of empowerment and job opportunities, and fortunately, for minorities and ethnics and females, part of that group, you all are getting those advantages that before you were just working by yourself. So now you have that group to help support and to give you that direction. So please don't ignore those. Don't just look for I gotta either go online and do the freebies, which are there, of course, but once again, it's the law of large numbers. You got millions of people looking for similar jobs. So try and look at these local situations where you can have one-on-one contact and hopefully get some free results that will help you get toward that goal. Go ahead, dear.
Okay.
I'm taking your time up.
Okay. Is there anything else you'd like to ask?
Yeah, we're going to have to, it'd have to be real quick, because we really do have to make room in case our next caller does call in as he's supposed to.
No, that's it. Thank you.
Well, listen, Kelly, we really appreciate. I'm sorry about the confusion in the beginning, but again, I like to confirm to make sure, because everyone circumstances change, and within a month you might not have been able to come today. But I'm really glad you did, especially when the person who confirmed yesterday doesn't appear that she's called. So you filled in a need. Don't hesitate on future shows to do like Grace did, to call back and give Robyn some feedback or look for some additional assistance. We really appreciate you watching. Don't just watch this show. Watch some of our others. You might find it very informative. Okay, Kelly, thank you very much. Mike, do you want to take a short break, or do you have someone to call? It's up to you. I don't see anything up there. What's that?
We can't.
Okay, folks, we're going to take that second break. Catch us on the other side, and hopefully we're hoping for a call from a gentleman named Jordan, all the way from Florida. And I was really concerned he might not make it because of the damage, but he said he's anxious and he's able to do it. So we're hoping he'll be with you on the other side. So enjoy these commercials. See you in a little bit.
This is Remus Bowman. I want to invite you every Monday at 12 o'clock live for You and Your Credit. You can call in, you can ask me questions. Believe me, I've got most of the answers for you. We're going to help you get a good credit score. We're going to open doors for you to have an opportunity to be successful and pay low interest for your automobile, your home, your credit cards, everything that you buy. We're going to put you on a great path to have a successful future. Send me your request for information. I'll be glad to answer your question. Every Monday at 12 o'clock, join me from 12 to 1 Monday afternoon for You and Your Credit, originating from New Orleans Talk Network.
There's soul food, and then there's food for the soul. At a time where we live to eat, the Praline Connection restaurant serves up recipes that reach back into days long gone. You know, the kind of meals your mama cooked up for Sunday dinner. Fried chicken with macaroni and cheese and candied yams, homemade meatloaf with garlic mashed potatoes and string beans, or Nolan's filet gumbo. That's the real soul you get only at the Praline Connection restaurant, located at the corner of Chalmers and Frenchman Street in the Marinade.
Listen up. Your customers, our listeners, could be hearing about your business right now. Yeah, right now. Don't miss out on the opportunity to advertise with NewOrleansTalkNetwork.com. Call our business department today at 504-475-4793 to hear about our great rates. NewOrleansTalkNetwork.com. We provide the people, you provide the business.
Nobody gives you better conversation about your quality of life.
Let everyone know you listen to
The New Orleans Talk Network.
Well, it's Bob Bockelman here, Bobby, with Robyn from California. We're having an exciting time. We had a follow-up in the first 15 minutes. We had a caller who wasn't expected, but someone was expected. And now we've got a person who has confirmed, as we mentioned. Jordan is calling in from Florida, and we're so pleased. First of all, you don't have sustained damage, that you're able to call. Welcome to the show, Jordan, and please meet Robyn.
How you doing, Rob?
Great. How are you doing today, Jordan?
I'm doing great.
All right.
Excellent. Now, do you want to start with a question, or I know she's already started doing your cards. How do you want to do it?
Let's start with a question, and then we'll go from there. Do you have a specific question? If not, I can just go with just a straight reading. I'm sorry.
I think we lost.
Did we lose you?
No.
Okay.
Okay. Did you want to start with a question, or would you rather her start telling you what she's reading so far?
Start with a question.
Okay. Go ahead.
Yes. My question today is that does Stephanie Ray Adams think that I'm still engaged with her?
Okay. I'm sorry.
You're breaking up, Jordan. Hopefully, it's not a result of what's going on, what went down there. Can you take it? Could you talk a little louder for the question? And we might interrupt you because, like I say, we're getting every second or third word. It started off with does, and I believe you're talking about a young lady's name. We don't need to give that name, I don't think, specifically, because she might not want it on the air. So maybe either just her first name, but start the question over. And if you could speak a little louder, and if you don't mind us interrupting you, if your voice keeps jumping out.
Okay. Does Stephanie think that I'm still intimate with her?
Does Stephanie think? Did you get it?
Is the word intimate?
Intimate.
Okay.
So you want to know whether Stephanie wants to be with you on an intimate basis? Is that what your question is?
No.
Oh.
Does Stephanie think that I'm still enemies with her.
Oh, enemies. Okay, I've
Oh,
got it.
enemies. We're so
Okay.
sorry. As I say, it's a bad
all
connection.
right, all right.
All right.
right.
Let him have it.
Okay,
Let him have it. Apologize for that.
Okay, this is going to be a little bit of a struggle. There, I think that in her heart, she doesn't want to hold on to it. You're going to have to let go of this situation. You're going to have to just go, whatever happens, it happens. One of the things I tell people when they're in this kind of struggle is to pray for the person and hope that they get everything that they want. Don't you choose what they want. You have to be totally open to let them have whatever they want, including if that means keeping a relationship separate. However, what happens when you do that is softens their heart. It also softens your heart. So it allows you to let go of it. I think that this, from what I can see, this is repairable. It may take a while, but it will be repairable. You're just going to have to be patient. They have to go through their own process, and it may take a while. Don't be surprised it takes a while, but it will come around. She's not totally gone from your life, but it might be an unexpected situation where she comes back into your life. So even though you use the word enemies, I don't see her seeing you as an enemy so much. I think that she'll be able to reconcile this.
May I ask, are you really like pushing to be friendlier, let's use that term, with her, and maybe that's what's causing more of the friction? Or you just had a breaking of the ways and you just want to reclaim that? May I just ask, are you actively involved in some type of forced reconciliation, or and excuse that term? Can you tell me that at all?
No.
Okay, so with the reconciliation, if you want to be in this reconciliation around this person, you have to remember that there's no right or wrong. That, you weren't right or wrong. It was kind of more circumstantial. I can see, was there a third person involved with this?
Yes, he's kind of an evil person.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. So that's the reason why you have to not look at it as right or wrong, because the third person had the strong influence in it, and that's the reason why you need to step back, let go, understand that this is a process, and she will come back around. I don't feel any animosity for you towards her, and I don't feel a whole lot. She may be angry, but I don't think what I see in her heart that it is, like I said, it's repairable.
Yes.
Okay.
Anything more on that or something else? We have a few more minutes.
Okay, how does Stephanie feel about me?
Like I said, she's still angry at you. Whatever happened, and did this other person say things about you that may have been true in the past, but that's not. You've grown from that situation, or you've grown from your thoughts regarding how you consider. I wouldn't say especially women. That you have grown from that spot maybe than where you were 5 or 10 years ago.
Yes, it was 2 years ago. The guy just tell a whole bunch of lies.
Yeah, I know. I understand that. That's the reason why you have to stop looking at it as right or wrong, or that you've been done wrong. It's really about letting go of this situation. You know in your heart, I'm going to get emotional. You know in your heart you have grown from the person that this person is, how this person portrayed you. So you know in your heart that you're a different person from that. Will you, like I said, you're going to be able to repair it, but if you wanted to be in a romantic relationship with this woman, I would not put my eggs in that basket necessarily. In saying that, you will find someone that will accept you and understands the growth that you have gone through, and the kinder, nicer person. You're not the person you were 10 years ago, even 5 years ago. You've changed a lot. So stay on that path.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
There are two things in the process, whether it's a divorce from a physical marriage or just from a relationship. At some point, you've got to stop. You've got to give up your efforts if it's not being reciprocated. Because if one of two things, it's either aggravating the situation more for from the other person's perspective, or it's you're just beating a dead horse. So at one point, and even though it sounds like I'm telling you to get depressed, the thing is really to accept, and sometimes just to accept the reality of it. And oftentimes, then you might forget about it, and I've heard people getting back together again who had no thought of that. They, whether it's one or both of them, had gone in different direction. And through fate, we've seen old stories, love stories of people who were college sweethearts, high school sweethearts, and met 40, 50 years after multiple relationships and marriage, and they came upon each other in a coincidental situation and finally established the relationship they wanted. So I think the thing is there by not constantly or not always either thinking about it or trying to reconcile it, to let it go. And one, it's going to make you free for what Robyn is telling you, the availability of this other person or persons who will now make an opportunity to do a relationship with you, whether it's just a friendship or not. Because as long as you're dwelling on this, or well, even if it's internal, that can be judged in your demeanor, in your behavior, in your discussion, and you're really kind of shutting out opportunities. So why not try and move forward with it as best you can? And if heaven forbid, or not heaven forbid, if Robyn is right and the timing is right, or whatever the circumstances are, then maybe you all will return. If not, you haven't wasted your life, and she hopefully is not wasting hers. Okay?
Okay, I'd also like to bring up that I do see money coming towards you.
All right, that's a compensation right there.
As well as there is someone that, like I said, will fill your heart with joy. And there is a romantic relationship coming to you, and sooner rather than later. So I would say 6 to 9 months. You also are in a cycle of movement, so definitely need to go forward as far as this is a good cycle to make things happen in your life. I also do. There's also a strong sense of spirituality, and I think that this is part of what changed. It could be something that is more religious or spiritual. I don't know what you practice or not, but I feel like this is part of the change you've gone through. Kudos to you, because I'm going to tell you, you've gone through a magnificent change. You should feel really proud of yourself that you've moved forward in the way that you did. I know it's unfortunate with Stephanie, but there is someone who will love you the way you want to be loved, and someone that you will love the same way.
Okay, Jordan, I'm sorry. We're just about running out of time. I've got to wrap up the show. We really appreciate you calling us, and don't be a stranger to the show, not just to the T4 Talk to the Tarot, but some of our other shows you might find interesting. And just as we advised Kelly, and as Grace did earlier, don't be ashamed or don't feel neglected about calling back, especially when we have opportunities to entertain feedback or maybe additional information that might help you in your resolution. Take care, and thanks for watching the show, all right?
You too, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Jordan.
All right. It's almost near that time. They're going to kick me out of the station. Okay, folks, this was a fast hour. Robyn was great. She did all new, one was a revisit, but unexpected feedback, great for her. And 2 other callers knew that she was able to entertain. So she's batting 1,000 for as I'm concerned. And so far, we've only got 1 feedback, but it was very positive. So we look forward to anyone else giving us a call back. Watch for her. She'll be back, and she might be back in studio again since she's coming back to visit us Halloween. It all depends on how long she's coming. But we thank her so much for coming out. Next week is usually an open week, but I'm coming up with a new thing called C2, Chefs Chat, where we'll be entertaining chefs from around the nation, live via Skype, not locally here, and giving them an hour of exposure so you can see what they're doing in other areas, not just our culinary area. So it's scheduled for the first Wednesday, but we might do a sneak preview next week, depending on what else we develop. Continue to watch Talk With Your Network, talk to the New Orleans Talk Network, I'll get it. And you have a great week, and we'll be talking back with you next Wednesday. Have good. Take care.